Let's return to our top story. This afternoon, we learned the shooter worked at a bank, and the governor of Kentucky, we're talking about a mass shooting in Kentucky, the governor knew some of those victims.
Alyssa Donovan joins us now with the latest.
Yeah, Ben and Jackie, just a tragedy in Kentucky this morning. We know that Louisville police say a lone gunman opened fire at the Old National Bank in downtown Louisville early this morning. 5 people died, including the shooter. 9 others were injured, including a police officer who is in critical condition tonight.
Let's be clear about what this was. This was an evil act of targeted violence.
40-year-old Josh Barrick, 63-year-old Tommy Elliott, 57-year-old Juliana Farmer, and 64-year-old Jim Tutt were killed this morning when a shooter opened fire at the Old National Bank in downtown Louisville.
Each amazing people whose families grieve them, whose community will mourn and will miss them. These are irreplaceable, amazing individuals that a terrible act of violence tore from all of us.
Police were called to the bank just before 7:40 Central Time. When they arrived, the shooter was still firing a rifle.
The suspect shot at officers. We then returned fire and stopped that threat. The suspect is deceased.
One of the officers was shot in the head and remains in critical condition at the hospital. Louisville Police Chief sharing that the young officer was just sworn in less than 2 weeks ago.
The officer who is in critical condition today, Officer Nicholas Wilt, 26 years of age, just graduated from the police academy on March 31st.
Police say the 23-year-old male shooter was an employee at the bank. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear sharing that he ran one of his campaigns out of the building and that one of the victims was a close friend.
Tommy Elliott helped me build my law career, helped me become governor, gave me advice on being a good dad. It's one of the people I talk to most in the world, and very rarely were we talking about my job. He was an incredible friend.
President Joe Biden releasing a statement sending prayers to the victims and survivors, highlighting the need for gun safety reform, saying in part, how many more Americans must die before Republicans in Congress will act to protect our communities. It's long past time that we require safe storage of firearms, require background checks for all gun sales, eliminate gun manufacturers' immunity from liability. We can and must do these things now. And the mayor of Louisville says they will be holding a vigil tonight for those victims of the shooting. Ben and Jackie.
All right, thanks.